Hi guys, welcome back. Is Eddie Jones's stubbornness stopping in England, holding them back, stopping them from being as good as they can be? Now, I want to talk specifically about Sam Simmonds, Alex Donbrandt, Marcus Smith, as they're the three that I really want in the England side, but I'm sure there's others. And I'll start with some indisputable facts, I don't know, but indisputable statements. You tell me if you think they are or not. Okay, so number one. Their Premiership form is consistently excellent of these three. I think that's fine. And I think their form shows that they are good enough to play for England. Now, obviously, if you're good enough doesn't always mean you should be in, because there might be more players than spaces that are good enough. But I think, a fairly indisputable fact at the moment is they're playing better than their direct competition of Owen Farrell and Billy Vunipola. Now, it's not that Eddie hasn't brought in players from outside. He's brought in a lot of random players before who aren't probably actually good enough to play for England. I don't want to put names in here, that's a bit harsh, but you guys can comment on those players. But he does bring in random players, and you go, who? And their form hasn't justified them being in the England squad. But these three are amazing, and I think they should be in, and they're a lot better than a lot of the players that have come in before. That's what I'm saying. So let's have a look at these players. Sam Simmonds, super compact, sure he's smaller, very powerful, lightning quick, scores in tight, makes breaks out wide, as quick as a back. I mean, he's a phenomenon, absolute phenomenon. Alex Donbrandt, 6'4", 120 kilos, naturally big and tall. So he's a player that could put on extra muscle quite easily, doesn't have to force it on. And he's got the unique combination of being a big guy, but having a great eye for a break, support line. He plays a bit like a back, a centre, but with the frame of a number 8, so very unique. And then Marcus Smith, who's still young, but he's played so many games for Harlequins already. Great all-round game, including goal kicking. I can't see any particular technical or physical weakness in his game. Brilliant passing, range, great step, sidestep, 30-metre acceleration. Just looks like he's got it all. So why are they being snubbed? Okay, so point one, I think, is the Billy Vunipola factor. Now, I'm not having a go at Billy Vunipola here. It's just the fact that he's not a great trainer. He says it himself. And for him to be any good for England, he needs to play every game, basically. Even when it's maybe against Italy or it's a game where that isn't massively important. If you get him playing, he gets better and better. So if you pick another 8, essentially they're just not going to play because of that fact, as long as Billy's fit, of course. And when he is fit, Billy Vunipola's strengths are his carrying and his nice soft passing. And getting him to that point is obviously, well, probably what Eddie's trying to do. The question is, it's okay to drop people. You can say to players, go back to club, prove your fitness, prove your quality, and come back in. So I don't quite buy all of that. But let's look at the Sam Simmonds thing. Eddie may see him as being too small. But how Exeter get round this is they play a human dump truck at 6. In this case, probably Dave Ewers. Now, could England do that? Well, yeah, they could. But of course, their favourite combination on the flanks is Curry and Underhill. So I understand why maybe you wouldn't play Sam Simmonds first up, but not to have him in the squad and not to look at ways of getting him in there on balance, I think it's a mistake. And could you play your 9 forwards, your Sam Simmonds, as your perfect hybrid player who sits around at 12 sometimes, and you have you extra forward to play with? I think that would be such a great option, so exciting. I mean, Eddie Jones always talks about ingenuity and new ways to play the game. Well, I think there's one staring in front of him and he's not doing it. And for Donbrandt, I do not see any reason why he shouldn't be in. If they're looking for a big number 8 to back up Billy, he is perfect. He's a different type of number 8. He does a lot more running, hits a lot more lines, a little bit more flair and attack. But he's a big guy, and he would balance out with Curry and Underhill perfectly. And like I said, with Marcus Smith, I just can't see any reason why he's not in, on his form, on his ability. But the reason probably is Ford and Farrell have this team tied up. They've got all the intellectual property. They're leaders. They make this team tick. And if you put Smith in, he's probably just not going to feature. So again, it's like, do you want a third wheel? So if you're going to play Smith, you're essentially saying this is a new team. And that's quite a big step. Probably one I'd actually take at the moment. But, you know, you're literally saying, right, we're taking out a lot of the intellectual property, a lot of the leadership, that players are used to, and we're putting in a new guy and we're going to have to start that again. So a fairly big jump. In conclusion, I can't see why it's the end of the world to actually drop Farrell and Billy. Players are dropped all the time. Sure, Farrell's the captain, but you can't make captains immune to being dropped. You can say, okay, you're not in the squad for now or the team for now. You need to work on certain things. That's what every player has to do. And maybe that would actually be quite a good thing. And then they can actually start seeing some new players that deserve to be in and move England forward. Or is Eddie Jones doing the right thing? Are England sticking with their best players just because they're not in form doesn't mean they can't get there? I don't know. I'm falling on the side now of it's holding England back. But obviously a couple of performances, good performances, and maybe we'll think differently. But I still think these three players are absolutely key to England's future. Please, guys, let me know your comments. It's a very interesting debate, and I will catch you next time.